I know a lot of fans of Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy aren't ungrateful for what he's brought us, but I doubt that any of you are really aware of how lucky we truly are. Before the reinvention of the franchise, Warner Brothers was actually in talks with Schumacher to do a third Batman, with Scarecrow as one of the villains, Harley Quinn, who was the Joker's daughter out for revenge, and Jack Nicholson coming back as the Joker. Actors like Nicolas Cage, Steve Buscemi, and Jeff Goldblum were up for the role of Scarecrow, and Madonna was almost cast as Harley Quinn. The reason I tell you this is because Batman films are a lot like Batman himself. If Bruce and his parents didn't go to that exact theater, if they didn't leave at that exact moment, well, Joe Chill might have chosen some other victims and walked on by, and there would have been no Batman. It's just like Nolan coming in to do these films. The universe had to come together to give us the Batman that we deserved. Otherwise, we could have had Schumacher directing Madonna and Nick Cage. God, that's the stuff nightmares are made of. This is Real School. Here it is, the last installment in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, and his first film since the epic Inception. Uh-oh, Real Schoolers, if you know anything about me, you know that Inception is probably my favorite film of all time. So needless to say, Nolan set the bar pretty high. Well, let's start with a now Nolan regular, my favorite character actor and all-around man crush. Did I just say that? Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Now, I chose JGL to start with because he's a perfect example of what Christopher Nolan and his brother Jonathan were able to do with the film. They were able to take a handful of new characters in the third installment and balance them out with the cast we already know. When that's been done in the past in the third part of a trilogy, usually the new characters are the ones that suffer. Levitt's performance as Blake, an all-around uber Gotham cop, was amazing and really well fleshed out, and it not only speaks to his performance, but what the Nolans were able to do with the script. In fact, it almost felt like Blake was the main character at times. With new heroes come new antagonists, and the additions of Bane and Catwoman were welcome. Tom Hardy's Bane was once again a great representation of the theme of fear that Christopher Nolan has had throughout his entire Dark Knight trilogy. And let me tell you, he is the perfect foe for Batman. He's a terrorist who truly believes in what he's doing, and all of his followers are just as devout, which makes him really menacing. And while Nolan typically changes the characters just enough to make them grounded and realistic, there are enough fanboy tidbits in this one to make it the comic book version of Bane. He's intelligent, physically menacing, he grew up in a hellish prison, and they even managed to work in the Venom strength a little bit. The mask that he wears is actually so he can breathe properly, and without it, it causes him a lot of physical pain and he grows weaker. So it was a nice subtle way to deal with the fact of that is Bane's only weakness, is taking away his strength. Although I already can't wait for the Blu-ray to be released so I can turn on the subtitles and figure out what the hell he was saying half the time. Once again, the Nolans clearly did a lot of Bat research coming into this film. If you're a fan of the comic books and the video games and Batman's world in general, you're going to notice a lot of familiar story points. It's part Gotham Central and GCPD, and it's got the no-holds-barred chaos of Arkham City or No Man's Land. In fact, it's the definitive Gotham experience. It really covers a lot of what you want to know about Gotham City. Speaking of definitive, I give you the perfect Catwoman. Sassy, smart, sexy, and classy, but very much her own kick-ass woman. Anne Hathaway pulls it off. Take that, non-believers. In fact, you know what? Enough with that, because people didn't know what to expect with Keaton, and fans didn't like when he was cast, and we arguably got the best Batman. People didn't know what to think of Heath Ledger, and now they're choking on his Oscar. But Hathaway proved all those non-believers wrong, which is why she is The Dark Knight Rises for the win. The Dark Knight Rises wasn't perfect, and while I do praise the Nolans for their research and character study, the script did have a lot of plot holes, and in fact, in the Dark Knight trilogy, it was arguably the weakest script. But this is the best way I can sum up the Dark Knight trilogy done by Christopher Nolan. He doesn't make good Batman films. He makes awesome films with Batman in them. The Dark Knight Rises does not disappoint. It gives you everything that you want, which is a rarity in the third part in a trilogy. It ties all three films together. It's got cameos from characters from the previous films. It ups the stakes as high as they have ever been. It tears everything down around Batman, and the climax of the film is worth the price of admission alone. Not my favorite Batman film, but definitely a solid earn it. So real schoolers, with the end of yet another take on Batman, I want you to answer this poll question. What was your favorite Batman film? Of course, leave your answers in the comment section below. Also, don't forget about School Night, our next live broadcast on Thursday, August 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you all there, and until then... Oh wait, this might be the first and last time I have a chance to do this. School's out. I'm not wearing hockey pads.